What's going on, y'all? Today we got Kevin Durant wants major changes. No one is safe. Let's get into it, man. This guy's crazy. No one's safe,
Kevin
man.
Durant told the media, "It sucked, it was embarrassing. It's hard to see what the future holds for our team. Oh, not good if you're a Suns player. But surely he couldn't mean trade Chris Paul. That's, some heads are gonna roll after this one. Oh God." But KD is right. This was embarrassing. The Suns got destroyed by Denver. They were down as much as 30 at home. Last year, down as much as 32 at home. That is the third and fourth worst beatdowns by a team facing elimination in NBA history in back-to-back years. That shows a serious problem with this roster and with coaching. Monty Williams just signed an extension, but reports say he's not safe. The new owner, Matt Ishbia, wants to win so bad, he traded all their picks, Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson for KD, so no one is safe outside of Durant and Booker.
Oh.
What can they do?
Okay.
It turns out they only have one real move to improve this roster. The problem is the new CBA. I won't go over every single detail, but the most expensive teams are screwed. They can't use the mid-level exception, which is how the Lakers got Lonnie Walker or the Sixers got PJ Tucker. Not having that is a big deal. You can't sign buyout guys, like the Clippers getting Russell Westbrook. Making trades is almost impossible. Now, I will link an in-depth video on this later, but the point is, the Suns are stuck unless they make some crazy trades. The two guys everyone is looking at are DeAndre Ayton and Chris Paul. But how are they going to get good players back for Chris Paul? They can't. That's not the point. We will look at trades in a bit, but the Suns aren't looking for great players back for Chris Paul. They just need a couple of role players who can provide depth. Phoenix had the second worst bench scoring in the NBA playoffs this year. They needed Devin Booker to be like prime Kobe to win games, but as soon as he had an off night, they collapsed. Book only scored 12 points in Game 6, but that's okay. He needs help. He should be allowed to have an off night. Oh, but KD is helped, not by himself. I mean, Durant didn't really have one great game in this series because he needs better teammates too. The good news is there are teams interested in DeAndre Ayton. But CP3 can get traded too. He makes $31 million next year, but if they cut him, he only gets paid $16 million. And if they let him go, one team is already interested. Dwight Howard is openly recruiting him to Taiwan. Imagine the rings those two could win. But that's stupid.
Why Dwight do a boy like that? Come on, man.
It makes a lot more sense. CP is on an expiring contract because none of his deal 2 years from now is guaranteed. So there will be options. Yahoo has linked the Suns to both Fred VanVleet and Terry Rozier. So the Hornets get Chris Paul and 3 second-round picks. The Suns get Rozier. The Hornets would do this to get off of Terry's contract. It would open up the most cap space in the NBA next offseason. Gordon Hayward's $32 million is also off the books, so they would have enough for 2 max contracts around LaMelo Ball, but only if they trade Rozier. Also, having CP to mentor LaMelo Ball is not a bad idea. Look at what he did with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in OKC. But I don't understand this rumor for the Suns. I mean, Terry Rozier is not a natural point guard. He's talented, but he plays the two really, like Devin Booker. And the same goes for Fred VanVleet, but he is asked to do way too much in Toronto. Maybe with KD and Book, he would be a better playmaker. But the trade is unique. It would need to be a 3-team deal. So the Suns get Fred VanVleet, the Raptors get Landry Shamet and a second, and the Rockets get Chris Paul and 3 seconds. The Raptors only do this if Fred is going to leave anyway. Obviously, they wouldn't take Landry Shamet and a second for Fred VanVleet, but the other option would be to lose him for nothing. The Rockets lend Phoenix their cap space here for 3 seconds. This was the best trade I could come up with, and it's not very good. So I don't think Fred VanVleet is a realistic name. But there is a much better chance DeAndre Ayton is traded. Rumors say he has played played his last game in Phoenix. He expected a max contract after the Suns went to the finals, but the old owner said no. Then they tried to trade him last year for Kevin Durant. Then the Pacers offered the max contract. So Phoenix had to match it or lose him for nothing. It's obvious they don't respect this dude. He knows it, and you can see it in the way he plays. Ayton does not want to be there, but other teams, reports say, see his potential. The number one rumor is Luka and the Dallas Mavericks. They would need Ayton to be an impact player on offense and defense. One of the big problems in Phoenix for Ayton is his role. It's like the third star in a big three who is asked to sacrifice a lot. When Chris Bosh went to Miami with LeBron and Dwayne Wade, he had a lot less responsibility from when he was the man in Toronto. Bosh had to humble himself and learn how to do the little things. That takes a special kind of personality. Bosh even warned Kevin Love, it's extremely difficult and extremely frustrating. Imagine being an all-star next to LeBron and Kyrie. Love had to sacrifice so much to be successful, and that's what it's like for DeAndre Ayton on the Suns. But in Dallas, he would be in pick and roll, catching loves from Luka, anchor their defense like a Rudy Gobert. Ayton's reputation could be completely different this time next year. The Suns get Tim Hardaway Jr., Maxi Kleber, and a 2026 first, and the Mavs get Ayton. This was actually a really good deal for Dallas, only giving up one first-round pick. In reality, I think Phoenix would try
Luka and Kyrie with Ayton.
another
That's
pick,
tough.
or maybe a pick swap out of this. The only way to do that is to create a bidding war with other teams who might want Ayton. I think the Spurs are a good fit, the Hornets, the Bulls, anyone who would need a good young center. But Phoenix would get back two quality role players around KD and Book. THJ and Kleber are three-point shooters. Kleber is a plus defender, and they could use that first-round pick to get yet another role player. But do not believe all the smoke about Kyrie Irving. First, KD and Kyrie are not on good terms, even though Phoenix needs a point guard. I cannot imagine Durant wanting to go through that Kyrie drum again. Also, if the Suns take back a player in a sign and trade, it triggers the hard cap, which makes other moves impossible.
I don't even see that. That would be ridiculous.
Head coach Monty Williams is liked by players, but his decision-making is in question after back-to-back embarrassments. But the number one question before firing any head coach is who's up next? Who are you going to replace him with that's better? The number one name is Nick Nurse. He is an amazing X's and O's guy who guided Toronto to their first chip in 2019. Even without superstars, the Raptors forced the most turnovers in the NBA the last 4 years. He is great on defense, but so is Frank Vogel. I know that name doesn't really get people excited, but outside of that, there's names like Kenny Atkinson, Mike Budenholzer, Steve Nash. But the real killer is this new CBA. If it wasn't for that, the Suns would have so many more options to build. This up here is a deep dive on why these new rules are so tough for expensive teams. And also, if you want to know why...
Sheesh, man. I'm gonna have to dive into that video too. My boy got some good videos on his channel, man. Let me know how y'all feel about this. I feel like, I don't know, bro. It's just DeAndre Ayton. Maybe he is a better player than I think. I don't think he's that good. I mean, I only been seeing him recently, and it definitely, as bro said, it looks like he's just playing dead, like he don't want to be there. That's exactly what it looks like. So maybe that's what it's about. I'm gonna have to see, man, when he gets on another team, when he gets traded. See how DeAndre Ayton plays, man, because from what I've seen, that boy is just, he's not it. He's lazy. It's like he don't want to be out there. But if y'all enjoyed, like video, comment, subscribe, click on the last reaction. I think it's over here. And I'm out of there, man. Bye.